You were approved for 10 spaces, not 22. This looks absolutely dreadful.
The structural integrity required this layout.
The first thing I saw was my own driveway glowing under floodlights while a paver roared across it, dumping hot black asphalt that smelled like burned rubber. Cold air rushed past me as I ran out in a t-shirt and socks, my silver sedan boxed in behind orange cones while a worker yelled, "Move it or we tow." At 6:12 a.m. my brick inlay, the one my grandfather laid, disappeared under thick black sludge. At the edge of it all stood Karen, our HOA president, neon vest, clipboard, and that tight little smirk. She gave a lazy wave and said, "This is the new guest lot, board approved, you're welcome." My stomach dropped harder than the backhoe bucket slamming the curb. That was the moment I realized what this fight was about. The HOA paved 22 extra spots onto the mansion driveway and had no idea I am their engineer. I live in the old stone place at the end of the cul-de-sac, carved into 3 units, on its own deed like a tiny island. The HOA has always hated that my house looks different from the beige boxes. I tried, one more time, to reason. I walked to Karen and said, "This is my private driveway on my plat map." She flipped a stack of papers and said, "Common access, board vote, done, and if I didn't like it, I could bring a lawyer to the next meeting." By 9:00 a.m. the first white stripes were down, stretching right over my easement line. I went to the HOA office in the model home, air thick with cheap coffee and printer toner. Inside, the treasurer looked scared, the secretary stared at her phone. I reminded them this was the same board that had called the cops on me for working late. In my notebook it read, "Timeline item 1 April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call." I said, "This isn't just petty now, this is access and safety." Karen slid a violation notice across the folding table and said, "Next step is fines for non-cooperation." That was my line in the sand. I promised myself I'd stay lawful, no blocking trucks, only proper channels. What Karen didn't know was that I'm a civil engineer. I am the engineer of record for the HOA's new clubhouse and pool project. That afternoon, I drove to my office and pulled the HOA folder from our flat file drawers. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. The plats showed my driveway as a deeded fire truck turnaround, not common space. A quick look at the city's online map showed their new stalls cutting straight through the fire lane and a stormwater buffer. One public records request later, the file landed with 63 pages, including past complaints that looked eerily like mine. The more I read, the calmer I got. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. Patterns of blocking fire access can shut projects down. On May 3, 2024, I sent a formal letter on my firm's letterhead to the HOA, the management company, and the city engineer. I said that as engineer of record I was pausing all approvals on the clubhouse until access, drainage, and emergency routes were reviewed. I attached my deed, the survey, and clear photos of fresh asphalt and stripes all over my driveway and the marked fire lane. I CC'd the fire marshal and code enforcement and waited while the new guest lot baked in the sun. 2 weeks later there was a public safety hearing. The board tried to keep quiet. Neighbors showed up with lawn chairs and phones. The city engineer set my binder on the table with a thump and clicked through photos of the 22 extra stalls blocking the only legal back access and hugging the hydrant. Karen tried to cut in, saying I was just mad about parking. I slid my business card forward and said I'm also the licensed civil engineer whose signature you need for your clubhouse permits. The inspector pulled up emails from that public records file and read out Karen's line about my driveway being empty, wasted space they could grab. The council chair didn't smile. They voted to fine the HOA $25,000, order every illegal stall removed, and require my brickwork restored within 30 days. The fallout was fast and loud. Neighbors filmed on the courthouse steps while Karen stormed past, face flushed, as someone muttered, "You paved the wrong driveway." Back in the neighborhood, the same crew came with saws and shovels, cutting up asphalt they had just laid while kids watched. The HOA email announcing Karen's resignation hit at 6:03 a.m., blaming stress and online negativity. A new, nervous board came to my door with coffee and an apology, asking if I would stay on as their engineer and help fix it the right way. I said yes on one condition: we follow the law and everyone's deed, not just the board's mood. A month later my brick driveway was back, kids drawing chalk cities on it, and my neighbors finally waved without looking over their shoulders. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.